name is Tara McInerney. I'm 20 and I study illustration in Cardiff. If you were to open a dictionary and look up squalor, you'd probably find 27 Mark Street. For 6 months, my partner and I rented this property, paying monthly for the privilege of living in a mould-ridden hole with no heating and running water. The landlord did respond once to tell us that the conditions weren't his problem, but ours. It was horrible and we felt angry and hopeless. After we left Mark Street, that anger persisted until a university lecturer directed me to Home Sweet Home. And after a one-to-one, I realised that even though Mark Street was quite far behind me, I still held the power to make sure other people didn't go through what I did. So I and a few others started to get organised. We built our group through one-to-ones, and we had our first public meeting to create the Tenants Charter based on lived experiences and shared stories. That action built our power, and then we were able to meet with Cardiff Cabinet Member for Housing. The meeting was run by us activists, and we were able to meet with Cardiff. The meeting was run by us activists, and we made clear asks of the council. We also won those asks. The council had agreed to support all landlords and agents who signed our charter, and that gave us power when we were speaking with the agents. We'd won action from Cardiff Council. Our newly organised rabble had successfully negotiated with a £1 billion capital city authority. But more importantly, we'd also come away with their respect and a strong working relationship. The next steps are to continue to build our team to bring about tangible change in the local community and to meet with Cardiff's Landlord Forum. From then on, we can use our power to ensure as many landlords and agents as possible sign the charter. Recently, I was able to go back to 27 Mark Street. When I went inside, I found freshly plastered walls, new flooring, and most importantly, it didn't smell. It seems now that the family live there very happily, and this for me was the biggest win yet, and I'm still completely elated. It's my hope that I can go into university one day and not hear my friends complaining about their properties. Not the same old story where people are afraid to speak out against their landlords in fear of harassment, neglect, or eviction. I want to hear people commending their landlords. I want people to feel contented and safe. Whilst we can't make the private rented sector perfect, and by no means do we pretend to, we can build power and organise people to instigate change. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Jake. I'm a Labour member here in Brighton, so I'm a local. And I'm one of the activists working on the Home Sweet Home in Brighton. And the reason I became involved with the Labour Party is because I wanted to be part of a movement that drove positive change like across the country, as cliched as that sounds. And that's also the reason why I started organising the Movement for Change. And when I heard that a group of activists working with Jack from Movement for Change were planning to take action to improve the private rented sector in Brighton, I got excited. And it was something that I felt that was incredibly important for Brighton and Hove. Even though we live in an incredibly beautiful city, we are blighted by a housing problem that affects thousands of its residents. We don't have enough housing, we have a huge private sector that has too many terrible landlords and letting agencies, we have to pay ridiculous agency fees, we have to pay sky-high rent, and we live in houses that are not maintained properly. I studied here in Brighton, and during my time as a student, I experienced letting agents who charged me hundreds of pounds in agency fees for the liberty of signing a contract. That contract then said I had to pay them thousands of pounds in extortionate rent. I then spent a year as president of Brighton Students' Union, where I saw the vast majority of our members going through the same thing, only to live in a cold house with damp, with broken furniture and with other problems that their letting agencies and landlords did not want to fix. Whilst at university, I was convinced that it was just students that suffer these problems. As president of the Students' Union and subsequently sitting on the council's Strategic Housing Partnership Group, I saw that it wasn't just students, but that these issues affected everyone in our city. I'm now a proper adult. I live in Brighton, I commute to London, and I even wear a suit and tie. Cheers, guys. Big achievement, I know. And along with thousands of other people, I'm still suffering because of that housing situation in this city. Our ongoing listening campaign that is going across Brighton, with our Home Sweet Home pop-up living room, we're just seeing how many people are affected by these issues. And enough is enough, and something needs to change. All of these stories, from so many different people, from across our city, can only mean one thing, that it's time to get organised. The problems I've spoken about, such as high rent, a shortage of housing, the poor condition of that housing, and all the others, are all linked and create wider problems within our community. It's It splits up communities, it creates tension between students and residents, it causes poor health, it means that a lot of people actually lose their homes. It basically causes a great deal of misery that we should not be putting up with in our city. I hope that people who have also been affected by these issues feel as strongly as we do about changing them, and I hope they join us in driving this campaign forward. I also hope that the good landlords and letting agencies join us to provide that you can provide a good service for a realistic and reasonable cost. We have seen collective community action make big changes in other cities, and I genuinely believe that the campaign we're starting here could be a huge force for change in this city. And I personally think that that is massively exciting. Next year, I hope to stand here again with a list of wins that we have achieved through our organising in Brighton, and that we're close, and to say that we're closer to better housing for everyone in this fantastic city. So thank you very much.
Folks, you've heard some amazing stories there, and we've just got one more speaker to go, and that's the amazing Dan Jarvis.